Last year I replaced some halogen light bulbs with some LED light bulbs, and turned out the old dimmers in the house just weren't able to handle the new bulbs with the lower power requirement. When you turn them on and you go to dim the LEDs, the further you dimmed them, the more that they would start flickering. I don't know if you can really see it good in the video here, but as you started going down to the low end, they start flickering real bad, and basically they drive my wife nuts. So, she basically hasn't been using them because of this and wanted them fixed, but I've put it off for about a year now, so I thought it was about time to get around to doing something about it. Turns out that these old dimmer switches won't actually really dim the bulbs all the way down either. They'll go down to a certain point, but that's it. And they're really just not made. They're made for the old incandescent bulbs that drew 100 watts or whatnot. They're not made for these new bulbs that only draw maybe 5 or 6 watts. So the other day online, I got an email from Home Depot, and they had this deal of the day special that basically it was a set of 2 new style dimmers that are made to work with any kind of bulb. So I ordered them online. I got a good deal. I think it was like $32 for the 2 switches, and it was supposed to take a week to get them, but actually they came in 2 days. I was real surprised, and they were packaged really good, and just basically a standard dimmer. But they work kind of like the old ones. The old ones had a push button in the middle, and then you just kind of set the dimming range by sliding it up and down. And these, have a switch in the middle, just like a toggle switch, but they still have that little slider for dimming it, so you can leave it at one point and turn it off, and it will come back to the same spot. And also they work for a either a single way switch or a 3-way switch, so they guess they're pretty high tech inside them, the electronics. And they just come packaged in those little plastic packs that were actually quite easy to open up compared to some of the ones I've seen. And it's just it looks like a standard old dimmer switch there, and about the only difference is that there's that little black knob on the side there. There it is, with the little tab on it. And that has a screwdriver slot in it. I don't know if you can see it good there. And it's got like a plus or a minus on the adjustment. And that actually lets you adjust the low end of the dimming range. So you can bring an LED bulb right basically down to just about off with these switches. So that's a really cool feature. Somehow they managed to put the instructions on a piece of tissue paper in 12 different languages and fold it up into a little tiny thing in there, and it's still usable. It's pretty amazing how they do that. But I'm not going to show you how to install these things. Actually, some areas you need a licensed electrician, or it should be somebody that really knows what you're doing, that installs it for you if you can do your own work. But I just don't want to show you how to do that. I'll leave that up to you and your local laws. But basically, it's a pretty quick swap out, and there I've swapped out the switches. These are the new ones in there, and all ready to set that little adjustment on the side. And basically, it's pretty easy to do. You just turn them on, and you slide it up and down and play with it a couple times, and then put it down to the bottom, and basically you just adjust that little pot there that turns until the light just barely goes as dim as it possibly can before going out. You can see that one there is adjusted all the way to the bottom for an LED, and the other one on the other side, I had to adjust that for the halogen bulb, so that actually is up a little bit higher. But as soon as I find a LED with the downlight with the right color, I'm going to replace the halogen bulb. So the good thing is I can just go back in, pull the cover off, and readjust it, once I change the bulb, and everything will be fine then. So this it really just took a couple minutes. I've been putting it off for a year now, but once I got everything installed and adjusted properly there, just a matter of going back and putting a little brass cover plate back on top of the switch. And now I basically have really good working dimmers that work perfect with the LEDs. This is just, one of those little things that if your equipment gets obsoleted so fast anymore, it seems like, and it's just one of those little things that you really have to do if you want to switch over to these high efficiency bulbs that they have now, and be able to enjoy them without all the flickering and stuff that really will drive you crazy. So I just thought, I'd share this, what it took to fix my problem. And actually, there's this is the light fixture that I did that video about building a couple years ago. Everything's all working fine now. You can kind of see how I can, basically dim them right down or bring them up to any level in between there. And there's no flickering. Everything's rock steady, and even the halogen one in the middle is. So I just thought I'd share this with you just to show you how to, fix these switches when you put in new LED bulbs. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.